In recent years, a narrative has gained traction within certain religious and political circles, particularly among specific factions of the Greek and Armenian church leadership in Jerusalem. This narrative asserts that God has given up on the Jewish people, that the modern state of Israel is a colonial mistake, and that the church has fully replaced Israel in the eyes of God. However, when tested against the three witnesses, biblical text, historical data, and archaeological evidence, this theory, known as replacement theology, collapses. Here are 4 reasons why the anti-Zionist argument fails to stand up to scrutiny.
1. The covenant is legally irrevocable. The foundational claim of anti-Zionist theology is that the Jewish people forfeited their right to the land and their status as the chosen people by rejecting Jesus. While this may sound like a convenient theological loop, the Bible explicitly forbids this conclusion.
The Old Testament witness. In Jeremiah 31:35-37, the prophet links the existence of Israel to the fixed order of the universe. He states that only if the sun, moon, and stars vanish from the sky will the seed of Israel cease to be a nation before God.
The New Testament witness.
The Apostle Paul, writing after the crucifixion, addresses this exact issue in Romans 11:29. For the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable.
If God could break his everlasting oath to Abraham, because of human failure, then no covenant, including the Christian one, is safe. The covenant stands not because Israel is perfect, but because God is faithful.
History did not begin in 1948. Critics often frame Zionism as a modern European colonial enterprise, ignoring 3,000 years of continuous history. They argue that the church or other groups are now the indigenous voice of the land.
The Jewish presence in Jerusalem dates back to King David.
Despite 2 major exiles, a Jewish remnant has always remained in the land.
Safe in Jerusalem.
The population data.
Long before the rise of political Zionism, historical records confirm a Jewish majority in Jerusalem. By 1864, foreign consuls and even Karl Marx noted that Jews were the largest religious group in the city.
The Jews are the only people in history to return to their ancestral homeland after 2,000 years, speaking the same language, reading the same book, and worshiping the same God as their ancestors. That isn't colonialism, that is restoration.
3. Jesus was a Jewish rabbi, not a Palestinian prophet. A common trend in modern anti-Zionist rhetoric is the attempt to de-Judaize Jesus, reframing him as a Palestinian revolutionary who opposed Jewish nationalism.
Reality, Jesus was born Yeshua ben Yosef. He was a descendant of Abraham and David. He lived as a Torah-observant Jew, wearing tzitzit and debating the interpretation of the law.
In Matthew 15:24, Jesus states, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." In the book of Revelation, he is not identified as a generic human figure, but specifically as the
Lion of the tribe of Judah.
To strip Jesus of his Jewish identity is to create a fictional cape, and you cannot claim to worship the King of the Jews while opposing the existence of the Jewish state.
Conclusion: the narrative that God gave up on the Jews is historically false and theologically dangerous. The restoration of Israel in 1948 was not a political accident, but a fulfillment of Ezekiel 36:24. I will take you from the nations and gather you from all the countries and bring you into your own land.
For Christians, the return of the Jews to Zion should not be a cause for protest, but a cause for celebration. It is the ultimate proof that the Bible is true and that God keeps his promise.